Very good morning to all of you. I once again welcome you all to this current video lecture. In the last lecture, we discussed about the functional group and reactivity of the organic molecules. We conclude that lecture at one important concept that is called as the structural effects. That structural effects are important as far as the reactivity of the organic molecules are concerned. Now, in a current lecture, we started the first structural effect. That important structural effect is called as the inductive effect. So, we have to look towards what is meant by this inductive effect, what is the use of this inductive effect, how it affects the reactivity of the organic molecules. So, first of all, before studying the effects of this inductive effect, we must know the definition of this inductive effect or its actual meaning. So we know that there are two types of the molecules. One molecule is a homonuclear diatomic molecule. Homonuclear diatomic molecule. Homonuclear diatomic molecule. Homonuclear diatomic molecule. Now, and the second molecule is a heteronuclear diatomic molecule. So first of all, if I take here a simple example of this heteronuclear diatomic molecule, suppose hydrogen gas is there, that is H2 molecule. Second, if I take here, suppose the second molecule, that is a Br2 is there, suppose Br single bond Br. Next, if I take here O2, suppose O2 molecule, suppose, then what happens? If we take into consideration these type of the molecules, these molecules are called as the homonuclear diatomic molecules because the two atoms involved in these molecules are of a same type. Now, if we consider the position of the bonding electron pair between these two atoms in these three compounds, what happens? Due to the same nature of both these atoms in these three molecules, the bonding pair is present exactly at the center of this bond. Exactly at the center of this bond. In this case also it is present exactly at the center of this bond. In this case also it is present exactly at the center of the bond. So what is the meaning of this? We can say that due to the same electronegativity of both these atoms, the bonding electron pair is exactly present at the center of the bond between these two atoms. Therefore, these type of the molecules are called as the non-polar molecules. These molecules are called as the non-polar molecules. So, these homonuclear diatomic molecules are commonly observed as non-polar molecules. On the other hand, if we take into consideration second type of molecule, that is a heteronuclear diatomic molecule. Heteronuclear diatomic molecules. These heteronuclear diatomic molecules. So for this purpose, if I consider here a simple example of HCl. If I consider here HCl. Secondly, if I consider here another example as methyl bromide, suppose methyl bromide. Now what happens? In this case, these molecules are called as the heteronuclear because two different type of the atoms are involved in this molecule formation. Now, if we want to consider the position of the bonding electron pair between these two atoms, now what happens? These two atoms are different. They have the difference in the electronegativity. That's why the position of this bonding electron pair gets shifted towards that atom which has the more electronegativity, and that's why in this case this bonding electron pair gets shifted towards this type of the chlorine atom, and that's why we write it as a this type of the dipole is there. This electron flow can be transferred towards this type of the chlorine atom. In this case also, this methyl bromide, the electronegativity of bromine is more, and that's why we can say that this electron pair is shifted more towards this type of the bromine atom. That's how we may write this compound as CH3 single bond bromine. This bonding electron pair transfer towards this type of the bromine atom. So from this type of the electron flow from towards the more electronegative atom, we can say that this type of the molecules has the formation of dipoles. That is, this hydrogen has a partial positive charge, this chlorine has the partial negative charge. Same case is there, this carbon having the partial positive charge and this bromine has the partial negative charge, and that's why you can say that heteronuclear diatomic molecules are called as the polar molecules. These molecules are called as the polar molecules. So this first case, that is a homonuclear diatomic molecules, are non-polar, while heteronuclear diatomic molecules are called as the polar. Now we are going to discuss in detail these heteronuclear diatomic molecules. Now what happens, then in these heteronuclear diatomic molecules there is a bond is present between this carbon to that of the heteroatom, between this hydrogen to this heteroatom. In this case the bond is between this carbon to that of the heteroatom, due to which what happens, some type of the polarity or polarization can be created in this molecule, which we already shown here, partial positive charge on this carbon and partial negative charge on this bromine. Suppose if I take a large molecule, that is a large heteronuclear molecule, as this is a CH3 single bond CH2 single bond CH2 single bond bromine is there. Suppose this is a bromine. Now this molecule is called as the polar molecule. Why this is a polar? Because in this case one heteroatom is there. So this molecule is called as the polar molecule. Now if we consider the bond between this carbon number 1 to that of the bromine, in this case what happens, there is a electronegativity difference is there between this carbon to that of the bromine, and that's why what happens, partial positive charge can be created on this carbon number first, that is a delta 1 positive charge is there, and minus partial charge can be created on this bromine. So we can say that the electron density that is present between this carbon and bromine bond gets shifted towards this type of the bromine atom. It gets shifted more towards this type of the bromine atom. Now due to the polarization generated between this bond between this carbon number 1 to that of the between this bromine, it affects the polarization, or it induces the polarization at the adjacent bond between the carbon number 2 and carbon number 1. This again induce this type of polarization to the adjacent bond. So in this case also this type of the electron flow can be shown towards this carbon. So again a partial positive charge can be created on this second carbon, that is a delta 2. The same case is there, this polarization again get transferred toward the adjacent bond. So again in this case also we can say that the formation of partial positive charge can be generated, that is a plus delta 3. So in this compound we can say that initially the polarization can be generated between the bond between carbon number 1 to that of the bromine, that is a partial positive charge delta 1 on carbon number 1 and partial minus charge on this bromine. Due to the such a type of polarization between this bond, it induces the polarization to the adjacent bond. That's why in this adjacent bond also polarization can be generated, and due to the polarization at this adjacent bond, again this polarization can be induced in this terminal bond also. So we can say that this total molecule now becomes polarized. It has some type of the partial positive charge on this carbon and partial negative charge on this bromine. Now if I take into consideration the actual magnitude of this partial positive charge on these 3 carbons, we get an idea. If we take their order, what happens, we obtain the order as partial positive charge on this carbon number 1, that is a delta 1, the magnitude is more than that of the partial negative charge on this carbon 2, it is more than that of the partial positive charge on this carbon number 3. So this type of the decreasing order is there among the partial positive charge on carbon 1, carbon 2 and carbon 3. So from this order we get an idea, as the carbon number 1 is directly attached to the heteroatom, its positive charge formation is more than that of the carbon number 2, it is more than that of the carbon number 3. So what happens? This type of the polarization which can be generated by from one bond to the another bond, and this type of the process or this type of the effect is nothing but our inductive effect. This type of the effect is nothing but the inductive effect. Now what is meant by this inductive effect? So it is a very simple. The polarization in the adjacent bond, the polarization in the adjacent bonds, due to the polarization in one bond, is inductive effect, So it is a very simple definition for this inductive effect, that is the polarization in the adjacent bonds, due to polarization in one bond. That effect is called as the inductive effect. In this case, we know that initially polarization is only generated at this terminal bond, that is the bond between carbon number 1 and bromine, but due to such a type of the polarization, it get induced or it get transferred toward the adjacent bond also, and that's why this type of the effect is called as the inductive effect. Now, what are the important features of this effect? What are the important features of this effect? So we have to discuss it in a short one by one. The first important feature is that this is a permanent effect. This effect is called as the permanent. Effect. Means as soon as this type of the polarization can be generated in a molecule, this polarization remains constant, and that's why this effect is called as the permanent effect. Second important feature is that this effect is transferred through sigma bonds. It is operative through sigma bonds. This is the second important feature of this effect, that is, it is operative through the sigma bonds from one part of the molecule to the another part of the molecule. The third important feature of this effect is that the magnitude of this effect is very small. Magnitude of effect is very small. This is the third important aspect or feature of this effect. Magnitude of the effect is very small. It means that the positive charge created on this type of the carbon atoms, their magnitudes are very small. So we can say that the magnitude of this effect is very small. And the last effect is that the last important feature is that this effect going on decreasing. Effect goes on decreasing as distance is increased from the polar group or atom. So this is a fourth important feature. This effect goes on decreasing as the distance is increased from the polar group or atom. So what is the meaning of this? We know that in this compound, this is a polar group. The bromine is called as a polar group. So as we go away from this polar group, means if we go from carbon number 1, carbon number 2, carbon number 3, this carbon number 1 is adjacent to this polar group. That's why the strength or the magnitude of this partial positive charge, that is a delta 1, is the highest as compared to this second carbon, that is a delta 2, as compared to this third carbon, that is a delta 3. So this effect going on decreasing as we go away from the polar group or polar atom. So these are the 4 important features of this effect. That is, it is a permanent effect. This effect is operative through the sigma bonds. The magnitude of this effect is a very small, and the last important feature is that this effect goes on decreasing as the distance from the polar atom or group is increased. So in the today's lecture we start the first structural effect from the syllabus, that is called as the inductive effect. So before studying this, we discuss here the 2 important part of the molecule, that is the homonuclear diatomic molecule and heteronuclear diatomic molecules. After that we studied the simple definition of this inductive effect, that is the polarization in the adjacent bonds due to the polarization in one bond is called as the inductive effect. And after that we take here the features of this effect in a short. The remaining aspects of this effect we will take in a next lecture. So with this, today I stop here. Thank you so much.